For centuries, humanity has been captivated by the same burning question. What is money really? On the surface, it feels obvious. Numbers in a bank account, shining coins, or paper bills. But beneath the surface, money is far more than metal, paper, or digital code. It is power, it is illusion, it is promise, and it is control. Great thinkers across history tried to peel back the mask. Aristotle described money as a tool created by law, not by nature. Karl Marx called it dead labor feeding on the living. Nietzsche saw in it a reflection of the eternal human will to power. Yet despite all this, those who hold the most wealth rarely share what they know about it. Instead, they let myths grow. That money brings happiness, that it equals freedom, that it is the purest reward for talent. Behind closed doors, however, the wealthy live with truths too uncomfortable to reveal. So why don't the rich tell us the real story about money? Let us uncover 12 truths that the powerful often keep hidden, and in this first chapter, we'll reveal the first 6. Truth 1. Money is not gold. It's a language of power, Aristotle once observed. Money exists not by nature but by law. In other words, money is not gold, silver, or numbers. It is a shared belief. It works only because we all agree that it does. The wealthy know this better than anyone. They understand that money is less about objects and more about trust, faith, and symbols. It is a language of power, a way of commanding people and directing societies. In ancient Rome, emperors often mixed cheap metals into coins, insisting they were still worth the same. As long as citizens believed in the symbol, the illusion held. But once faith cracked, money collapsed overnight. The truth is dangerous. If everyone realized that money is just an agreement, not a reality, then the powerful would lose their grip. That is why the wealthy stay silent. Truth 2. Wealth does not kill fear. We are told that money brings peace of mind, that once you are rich, worries disappear. But the Stoic philosopher Seneca warned, the more possessions a man has, the more he is possessed. The truth? Money multiplies fear. A person with nothing fears hunger and cold. A person with millions fears lawsuits, betrayal, financial collapse, and the loss of reputation. The palace may look secure from outside, but within it, anxiety is alive and relentless. Think of the great financiers of history, Morgan, Rockefeller, Rothschild. They did not rest easy. They built empires of lawyers, bodyguards, and layers of security, not out of joy, but out of fear. Yet the wealthy will never admit this. Fear shatters the myth of money as freedom, so they smile for the cameras, while shadows gnaw at them in silence. Truth 3. The myth of merit. The world loves the story of the self-made millionaire. We are told, work hard, believe in yourself, and you too can be rich. This myth is so powerful because it inspires and comforts. But Plato long ago warned that wealth often comes not from virtue, but from chance, connections, and circumstance. Modern philosopher Michael Sandel calls it the tyranny of merit. Because when we believe that the rich are rich solely due to talent, we also believe the poor are poor because they failed. The wealthy know this is not entirely true. Many inherit fortunes or benefit from privilege invisible to the public eye. But admitting this would break the dream that keeps people working, striving, and chasing the very system that protects the elite. Truth 4. The illusion of freedom. Jean-Jacques Rousseau famously wrote, "Man is born free, but everywhere he is in chains." Wealth gives the illusion of freedom, jets, mansions, private islands. But in truth, money can become its own set of chains. A billionaire cannot simply walk through a market without bodyguards. Their lives are dictated by endless schedules, investments, and obligations. Their public image becomes a prison. Real freedom is not the ability to buy anything. It is the ability to need nothing. But if the rich admitted this, who would still chase wealth? So the illusion is carefully kept alive. Truth 5. Silence is the weapon of money. Michel Foucault once wrote that power works best when it is invisible. Money operates the same way. The less people know about its inner workings, the easier it is to control them. The financial world is deliberately complex. Tax codes written in thousands of pages, contracts impossible for the average citizen to decipher, secret offshore accounts, all cloaked in silence. The rich will never explain this to you. They benefit from mystery. As long as people don't ask where the wealth comes from or why the system works as it does, the powerful remain untouchable. Silence is their fortress. Truth 6. Wealth as a performance. The French thinker Guy Debord wrote, "Everything that was once directly lived has become mere representation. Nowhere is this truer than in the theater of wealth. Luxury cars, skyscraper offices, shimmering jewelry, these are the costumes of a grand performance. Behind the curtain, there may be loans, debts, fragile investments, and restless nights. But the show must go on. Why? Because the performance of wealth sustains the dream for the audience. The ordinary people who are told, this is success, this is happiness, this is what you must strive for. The wealthy cannot afford to reveal the truth, that their lives are often less free, less happy, and more fragile than they appear. The illusion must continue, or the system itself begins to crack." Closing of part 1 so far, we have uncovered 6 truths. 1. Money is not gold, but a language of power. 2. Wealth does not end fear, it multiplies it. 3. Merit is often an illusion that hides privilege. 4. The freedom of the rich is a performance, not reality. 5. Silence protects money better than walls. 6. Wealth is a theater built on appearances. Each of these truths reveals a deeper paradox. Money rules the world, yet it is built on illusions. The rich cannot admit these illusions, because if they did, society itself might begin to question the foundations of the system. But this is only half the story. In the next chapter, we will uncover 6 more truths, darker, deeper, and even more unsettling. We will see how money feeds on labor, reshapes morality, preserves power through inheritance, bends time itself, hides emptiness, and even pretends to conquer death. Truth 7. Wealth conceals emptiness. Friedrich Nietzsche once said, "He who has a why to live can bear almost any how." But here lies the paradox. Many of the wealthy no longer have a why. They chase wealth for wealth's sake, and in doing so, find themselves staring into a void. Money can buy comfort, luxury, and entertainment, but it cannot give meaning. Billionaire John D. Rockefeller had enough wealth to feed nations, yet his personal writings reveal a restless spirit, haunted by dissatisfaction. The rich will rarely admit this. Society believes wealth must equal joy, and to confess otherwise would destroy the illusion. So the silence continues, and the emptiness remains hidden behind golden curtains. Truth 8. The hidden labor behind capital. Karl Marx described capital as dead labor that lives only by sucking living labor. The essence of wealth is not magic or genius. It is the work of countless unseen hands. Factories, offices, farms, and warehouses, millions toil while a small number accumulate. The rich know this, but to admit it would be to expose the unfair foundation of their fortunes. Instead, the myth of the self-made man endures. Startups, billion-dollar companies, and dynasties are framed as the work of lone visionaries, while the truth, that armies of workers make them possible, is erased from the story. By keeping silent, the wealthy protect the structure that allows them to profit endlessly from the labor of others. Truth 9. Money bends morality. The philosopher David Hume once argued, "Moral distinctions are derived from our feelings. Money has the power to bend those feelings until morality itself becomes flexible. Ambition is praised when it produces profit, even if it looks like greed. Ruthless exploitation is rebranded as leadership. Wasteful luxury becomes a symbol of success. The wealthy understand this silent rewriting of morality. Laws, cultural norms, even religious interpretations have often bent to protect the interests of those with wealth, and to reveal this manipulation would invite rebellion. Thus, morality itself is reshaped not by virtue, but by capital, and that truth is far too dangerous to say aloud. Truth 10. The secret of inheritance. Economist Thomas Piketty demonstrated in Capital in the 21st century that inheritance matters more than effort in creating lasting wealth. Generational capital builds dynasties, while ordinary laborers struggle from paycheck to paycheck. Families like the Rothschilds, Rockefellers, or Hiltons prove that the true power of wealth lies in passing it forward. Fortunes are not just earned, they are preserved, multiplied, and defended across centuries. But this truth is never spoken aloud. To admit that the game of wealth is rigged by inheritance would shatter the dream of equal opportunity. Society must believe anyone can become rich, even if the ladder is already pulled up. Truth 11. Money owns time. The Stoic Seneca once remarked, "It is not that we have a short time to live, but that we waste much of it." The wealthy know that the most precious resource is not gold. It is time. Money buys the time of others. Every worker, every servant, every consultant is, in truth, selling hours of their life. The rich accumulate years by consuming the minutes of others. This knowledge is rarely shared because if people realized how much of their lifetime is being traded away, they might demand it back. They might refuse to exchange life for another's fortune. To keep control, the truth is hidden. Time is the true currency, and the rich are its greatest thieves. Truth 12. Wealth is a shadow of immortality. Epicurus said, "Death is nothing to us. When we exist, death is not present, and when death is present, we do not exist." But wealth is often nothing less than humanity's rebellion against mortality. For the rich, money is not just comfort, it is a monument against death. Foundations, corporations, estates, and skyscrapers are built as attempts at permanence. A name carved in gold is a way of whispering, "I will not vanish." But behind the grandeur lies fear, the most human fear of all, the fear of ending. Wealth becomes the illusion of immortality, and admitting this would shatter its mystique. Thus the rich remain silent. They cannot reveal that their endless hunger for more is not about joy, but about dread. Closing of part 2. In this second half, we uncovered 6 more truths. 7. Wealth hides inner emptiness. 8. Capital survives by feeding on the labor of others. 9. Money reshapes morality to justify itself. 10. Inheritance secures dynasties while blocking the ladder of opportunity. 11. Time is the real treasure, and money buys it from others. 12. Wealth is an illusion of immortality, born from fear of death. Together with the first 6 truths, the mask of wealth begins to fall. The rich do not speak these realities, not because they don't know them, but because revealing them would unravel the illusions that keep the world turning in their favor. Philosophy challenges us to look beyond appearances, to ask difficult questions, and to doubt what seems obvious. If money is not simply wealth, but illusion, performance, and power, then perhaps the true path to freedom lies not in chasing it, but in seeing through it.